Hi, I'm Kristen, and I'm living with ankylosing spondylitis. And as I've mentioned in other videos, there are good days and bad days. So today I'm having a really good day. I've actually been having a lot more good days than bad lately. So today I took a cycle along the waterfront trail with my electric bike, which was great because even though I still have the air cast on my foot from my foot surgery, I was able to pedal. And when it came to the hills, I wasn't able to pedal with my cast. So I just used my throttle to get up the hill. So that was wonderful. And I also did some backyard cleanup. So for all those people out there, I especially always like to talk to the younger people. Here again, older chick out there with ankylosing spondylitis, cycling, cleaning up my lawn. I can tell I overdid it a little bit because I really can't lift more than 15 pounds since my neck surgery. And then I can really feel the pressure and pain in my neck. So I think I definitely lifted something probably a little bit too heavy. So I have to be more mindful of that. But today I want to talk about finding a good rheumatologist. I've had messages from people on here that have had some really bad experiences. And I would say, I don't know, based on when I used to live in the US, which was for quite a long time, but a long time ago, it seemed like you had more choice and doctors were a little more competitive in keeping your business because it is a cash paying model, or I guess insurance. But anyway, it seems to be a little different there. You can get to a specialist much faster and you have more choice. Here in Canada, with more of a socialized medicine system, it's hard sometimes to switch rheumatologists, and a lot of times a lot of them don't really care so much. It's not a business to them. It's their profession. Some of them don't have the best bedside manner. So I would encourage anyone, because here where it's difficult to find different doctors, I have done that. So when I first was going to a doctor for my juvenile arthritis, I was having all sorts of pain and I was not diagnosed properly. I was just told, okay, it's still your juvenile arthritis. But I had a lot of the symptoms of ankylosing spondylitis. But my doctor, my rheumatologist at the time, did not only did blood tests to diagnose certain things. Just wasn't very focused on doing imaging. So finally, when I moved out of the area and got a new rheumatologist, he did imaging, and it turned out that my SI joint was quite in poor shape. Therefore, with all my other symptoms combined, giving me the diagnosis of ankylosing spondylitis. I did have my CRP in my blood was elevated. That is your inflammatory factor in your blood. But I didn't have any of the other signals, I didn't have the gene for ankylosing spondylitis, and I didn't have the ANA issue show up in my blood. So anyway, not bad. But then when I got put on my first biologic, which I think was, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Humira was my first one, or it could have been Symphony. He just kind of gave it to me, and he's like, okay, here's your thing. They're going to train you at the company, and I'll see you in 6 months, maybe a year. And I thought, okay, well, that was super overwhelming. And I thought that was normal. But I just wasn't happy with the fact that when I would try to get in to see him, he wouldn't return my calls because I was having some questions. And also, it wasn't helping with my symptoms. Oh, that's right. It was Symphony. I know that now because I'm remembering. So I ended up doing some research and found out there was a guy in Toronto that was specializing in ankylosing spondylitis, Dr. Robert Inman at Toronto Western. So I asked my doctor to get a referral, and I got a referral there. And oh my gosh, it was like night and day. The other people, I'm not saying they weren't nice, but just such a difference. And this is what I want you all to look for, because what's different about this doctor is when he didn't just look at the chart, dismiss me. He actually asked, how are you feeling? How are you doing? How are other things in your life? How's this medicine? And just trusted me implicitly about my symptoms and just wanted me to have symptom relief was the most important thing to him. So it was like, okay, well, let's double your dose. And then in the future, it was like, okay, let's switch to a new medicine. Okay, let's go back to this other medicine. Just really working with me with all of my symptoms and concerns. And also got me seen immediately by a neurologist for my neck issues, which ended up turning out to help me with surgery, which I don't think I would have had the same treatment somewhere else. So this is what you want to look for. It's also kind of neat sometimes if you can find a doctor that has some fellows or residents or different people that are training with them, because then a lot of times those people will come in first and get your history and answer other questions, and then you can spend time with the doctor on more detailed things. So that's nice too. And it also, to me, it really shows that that doctor is well renowned and well respected if they have so many people trying to work with them to learn from them. And also someone who's not arrogant, because arrogance can be very difficult to deal with in a doctor. I mean, I guess when I say arrogance is I don't care if they're stuck up in their own life, but I don't want them to be that way to me when they're treating me. So that's really important. So just keep pushing your doctor for a new referral. Don't take no for an answer. Keep going until you find someone that you're really comfortable with. I think that's extremely important. The other thing I like about going to a teaching hospital, if you're in Canada, is that you have access to a lot more clinical trials. Let's say you're not responding to any of the medicines, or maybe clinical trials going on that you can get involved in to try new treatments. You usually have faster access to x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs, and other specialists, like I mentioned, my neurologist. So anyway, that's what I would encourage you to do. Just keep looking, make sure you find the right person. And if you're having a lot of the symptoms of ankylosing spondylitis, and I would encourage you to explore biologics, because they have been a real game changer for me as far as pain. And I wanted to share that with you. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask it in the chat area of YouTube. And I try to get back to people as soon as possible. Again, my doctor is Dr. Robert Inman, Inman, in Toronto, at Toronto Western Hospital. If you are in my area, I would definitely recommend that doctor. And if not, I find different insurance policies at work might surprise you. And they may have resources you didn't know were available. For instance, I found out my company has what's called doctor's choice. And so if in the past, because I didn't know this before, I could have gone to them and they would have helped me look for a doctor that would have met my needs and helped me get referrals and all that. So you may have that resource in your area. You also may have some of those resources through the Arthritis Association. They may be able to help you as well, and also maybe lock into some support groups. I'm really on the fence sometimes about these support groups online, because I find most of them are negative. I haven't really come across a positive one yet. And I feel like you can really go down a negative spiral with some of those. And, I see people asking medical questions on there. It's okay to say, hey, what biologic did you take? Or what other medicine did you take? And get people's opinions in a little bit. But coming from the pharmaceutical background, I will tell you that everybody can have different symptoms to the same drug. And so if your neighbor had this bad experience, or your relative, it doesn't mean you will too. In fact, when they do clinical trials, you may hear all those commercials on TV, and they'll say, oh, it might cause this, it might cause that, and blah, blah. And you're like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. But did you know that even if let's say you have 7,000 people in a clinical trial, if one person says, my knee hurts, or my neck hurt, or I felt nauseous, that goes in the side effects that have to be read out on those TV commercials. So even though maybe 6,000 people, or more than 6,000 people in the trial had none of those symptoms, and one person has it, my math was really bad on that, but just bear with me. I just didn't know if a lot of people are aware of that when it comes to side effects. So if you really want to understand a drug, what you can actually do is go online. You can look at the product monograph for the drug, and you don't have to have a very scientific background to do this. You just flip through it, and there's going to be a page in there that's going to talk about a breakdown of the trial. It'll list, okay, this is how many people were in the trial, this is how old they were, and then they'll also list the side effects, and they'll show how many people in the trial had those side effects. And I think you might be really surprised how little some of the side effects are that you might be concerned about. Now, there's going to be other things like biologics definitely put you at higher risk for cancer. So that's something to be concerned about. But without the biologic, I wouldn't be able to function in my life. So it's a choice I made. As I've discussed, there's another video I have in my series that talks about my experience with starting on a biologic. But the most important thing is to find your good doctor, and to really ask good questions, and also find a really good pharmacist that can help you along the way as well. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a good day, and please subscribe if you get a chance. And like I said, feel free to reach out anytime. Bye.